Thank you all for coming today. Visiting with the Speaker and the Leader. It's the end of a long week of discussing how to make sure our economy begins to grow again. The unemployment numbers today are evidence that I've seen firsthand as I travel the country, and that is too many people are losing their jobs. And that's why it's absolutely essential that we work together to put a growth plan in place to create jobs for hardworking Americans. It starts with having a responsible budget. And today I want to thank the leadership of the Congress from the Republican side that came and strategized with the Vice President and me as how to get this plan moving. This weekend, millions of Americans will celebrate Labor Day. This holiday marks the traditional end of the summer season. It is also an opportunity to reflect on the contributions of hardworking Americans all across our country, from teachers, farmers, and healthcare professionals to firefighters, police officers, small business owners, and workers on the assembly line. Yet there have been some recent signs that our economy is beginning to improve. We are in the midst of a serious financial crisis, and the federal government is responding with decisive action. With the situation becoming more precarious by the day, I faced a choice: to step in with dramatic government action, or to stand back and allow the irresponsible actions of some to undermine the financial security of all. The market is not functioning properly.
1.858 billion shares were sold at a loss today. That's what that tells you. This is unbelievable. We have not seen numbers like this before. 735.63 points, a loss on the Dow. That is the biggest loss we've ever seen, not just in the close, even intraday. That is, no one has ever looked at the big board and seen minus 735.
I promoted a significant piece of legislation and therefore proposed with the Congress a big rescue plan to deal with a big problem.
The national debt has grown too large for the national debt clock. The debt has been piling up so fast lately they had to drop the dollar sign to make room for an extra digit as the number turned over to more than $10 trillion now and counting every second.
I made a mistake in presuming that the self-interest of organizations, specifically banks and others, was such as that they were best capable of protecting their own shareholders and the equity in the firms. So the problem here is something which looked to be a very solid edifice and indeed a critical pillar to market competition and free markets did break down, and I think that, as I said, shocked me. I still do not fully understand why it happened, and obviously to the extent that I figure out where it happened and why, I will change my views.
By the time the dust settled early today, Republicans had scored the largest party turnover in 70 years.
We've come to take our government back.
House Minority Leader John Boehner, the likely next Speaker of the House, was the face of the Republican rout.
What we need to do is to get government out of the way so the private sector can do what they do best: invest and create jobs.
And when you look at this final agreement that we came to with the White House, you know, I got 98% of what I wanted. I'm pretty happy.
More than $1 trillion in stock value has been wiped out in less than 2 weeks. Investors worried about the economy dumped stock, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average plunged more than 500 points, 512 points, a little over 4%. The Dow has now given back all of its gains for the year and then some.
The Dow ended down by as many points as it did in the throes of recession back in December of 2008.
You know, I got 98% of what I wanted. I'm pretty happy.
You got to look at what's happening economically in America. Our middle class is collapsing. Median family income has gone down. The poverty rate now is higher than at any time since 1948. And the gap between the very, very rich and everybody else is going wider. This year, ExxonMobil, the most profitable corporation in the history of the world, is not paying a nickel in federal income taxes, despite having made $19 billion last year. In 2005, 1/4 of large corporations in America, making $1 trillion in revenue, didn't pay a nickel in taxes. So I believe that we have to move toward significant deficit reduction. But you don't do it on the backs of the middle class and working families who are already suffering as a result of this Wall Street-caused recession.